Assalamu alaikum. 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 Assalamu alaikum. 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 Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another evening of learning Islam with Masjid As-Sabur, Sacramento. My name is Haazim Rashed. I am the Imam of Masjid As-Sabur, and I want to welcome you to our program. We are so blessed that you are here. For those of you who are familiar, we always begin our program with the name of God, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and we always state openly our faith in the one God, Allah, and our faith in His Prophet, Prophet Muhammad. In Arabic, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Tonight we're going to be talking about one of the practices of Al-Islam that brings together the worldwide community of Muslims, and we're talking about Hajj, or the pilgrimage. As we talk about Hajj, or the pilgrimage, I would point out that there is a chapter of our holy book, the Holy Quran, called the Hajj. It is chapter 22. And if you review this book, it talks very seriously about the role of rituals in society, as well as the importance of rituals in terms of making a religious people able to practice their religion. So I wanted to point out to you ayats, or verses 34 through 38. These are the verses that basically explain the importance of Hajj and why the rituals are such a key ingredient, not just of Islam, but of any religion that worships the one God. I'll read them for you now. As again, we always begin our reading of Quran by asking for protection from Shaitan or the devil. And then we begin Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, with the name of God. To every people did we appoint rites of sacrifice, that they might celebrate the name of Allah God over the sustenance He gave them from animals fit for food. But your God is one God. Submit then your wills to Him in Islam, and give thou the good news to those who humble themselves. To those whose hearts, when Allah is mentioned, are filled with fear, who show patient perseverance over their afflictions, keep up regular prayer, and spend in charity out of what we have bestowed upon them. These are the critical elements that lay out the importance of ritual for us. As we begin, I just want to state one thing. We will probably be doing 2 shows to cover the Hajj because it is so extensive. We are now going to show you how the men must dress in Hajj. Let me make a clear distinction. For men, there is a prescribed dress for Hajj. For women, as long as they are covered and dressed modestly, they are okay. But for us men, as you can see from the picture, that's a picture of me going to Hajj. I have 2 big terry cloth pieces of fabric. That's it. No belt, no rope, nothing to hold anything up, except you must learn how to fold everything to give you support and modesty. But once you put these garbs on, you keep them on until the completion of your rites of Hajj. Now, what do I mean by completion of your rites of Hajj? Hajj is a multi-day affair. You don't just finish it in one day. It takes several days to finish the Hajj. You get into the garb of Hajj at certain waypoints that are around the city of Mecca. Usually they're about 200 to 220 miles from the city proper, and that's where you must put on the garb of Hajj and wear it until you finish all of your rituals. When we were going to Mecca for Hajj, we stopped in Dubai. And then we flew into what is the world's largest airport, which is Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. If you'll notice, the roofs in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia are cloth with holes through them. The reason for that is because in the very hot summer days, you want the holes in the roof to let the heat out, because there is not enough air conditioning in the world to keep that heat from coming in. So it's going to come in, and they have the air conditioners in those stanchions so that they actually put cool air in the lower areas and the hot air goes out through the holes. Now, I say the world's largest airport because Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, during the Hajj, will accommodate up to 3 to 4 million people coming in on airplanes to perform the Hajj. The Hajj is the largest religious or migration of any other kind in the world. It normally involves 5 million plus people, and it's people from all over the world. This is where the universality of the religion of Islam is demonstrated, because everybody flies to Saudi Arabia for the Hajj. Most of them fly directly into the airport we just saw, which is the Jeddah airport in Saudi Arabia. The Jeddah airport is huge. It covers acres and acres of land, which is why they do it with a cloth roof with holes in the roof to allow the heat to escape. We're now looking at Jeddah, Saudi Arabia at midnight. If you'll notice, nothing is shut down, everything is fully lighted. We're lucky because we're there at midnight getting ready to leave. Many times during the height of the Hajj season, it will be jam-packed 24/7. But this is our first view of Saudi Arabia coming for Hajj. Now, why is it important that we make this journey? Hajj is what we call one of the pillars of Islam, one of the foundations of the faith, the foundation that is number 5. It is said that to make the pilgrimage at least once in your life, if you are financially and physically able. God blessed us to be able to go, and now I know why he puts that caveat on financial and physically able. I tell everybody, if you are going to Hajj, get in shape. You will need to be in shape. I don't mean, oh yeah, man, I walked around a little bit. I mean, you need to be able to face crowds. This is outside of the haram after prayer. If you'll notice, all of those people are there on the street because they couldn't get close enough to the mosque to pray, so they all just finished praying on the street. You will see that a lot, because in Saudi Arabia, when the call to prayer is made, even the traffic stops. People get out and pray. Now, it's important to understand that, because when we tried to walk through this crowd to get to the mosque, we couldn't even get through it. It was too thick. And once we got into the middle of the crowd, you get knocked around, people are pushing you, people are shoving back, and it's not a real pleasant situation. And this was the first day. Now, I appreciate what having room means. Here's our hotel. Thank God we had a hotel, because after you get pushed around, jostled, and everything else, we came back to our hotel, which was in walking distance of the haram, or the mosque in Saudi Arabia. And thank God they had good food, they had good hot water so you could take a shower and get cleaned up. Now, why do I mention that? See, we went and we did what is often called a Hajj Tamata, which means that not only did we do the pilgrimage, the official Hajj, we also did the minor pilgrimage at the same time. And when you do the minor pilgrimage, you go to the Haram, you circle around the Kaaba 7 times, you do the sa'i between Safa and Marwa, which is running between the 2 hills 7 times, and then you drink from the well of Zamzam and you pray at the feet of Abraham. When we walked to the mosque to do our minor pilgrimage, this is what we saw. These are the main gates of the Haram, or the mosque of the Kaaba. We don't see the Kaaba yet. This is the outside of the building that encases the Kaaba. This building can hold 1 million people at one time. So the building is huge. It includes the half mile between Safa and Marwa inside of it. And it's all just as beautiful as you see from this picture. Everything in it is maintained to the maximum, and it is a gorgeous place. During Hajj, however, they have to shut down the doors to keep people from being trampled to death, because there are so many people trying to make that trip. Now, one of the things many people don't understand about the Hajj is that when you go in to a building that can hold 1 million people, that's great. But what if there are 1.25 million that want to be in that 1 million person building? It's kind of crowded. Now, the first time we went and it wasn't officially Hajj, we made all of our circlings and everything on the first floor, which means we didn't go very far. If you see the Kaaba on the first floor, each circling is about 100 yards, maybe 200 yards. We had to go to the very top of the building, the 3rd floor, and each circling of the building was a half mile. Now, wait a minute, think about this. A half mile circumference and you in a building. And then, when you do your sa'i, you're running from Safa to Marwa, you're doing that in the building too. And that's a half mile each way. So all this is in this building that houses 1 million people. And it's an incredible sight. So, you also have to understand the whole building is surrounded by a plaza covered in marble, because they know not everybody can get in the building. So you can pray and do other things outside of the building. But it is an incredibly huge structure, and it is just so beautiful. And they are always expanding it, trying to get more people able to perform the rites of Hajj. I should tell you, one of the things that is said in our holy book is this: it is not their meat nor their blood that reaches Allah, it is your piety that reaches Him. When we go to Hajj, we say one phrase, Labaik Allahumma labaik. Here I am, O Lord, here I am. And we approach the house as visitors because it is God's house and we are coming to visit God in His house. The best clothing we can wear is the clothing of piety, but men are prescribed as to what they wear, and women can basically wear what they want so long as they are covered. Now here's the irony. The land around Mecca is rough. Mecca is actually in a valley, and it's surrounded by low hills, lots of rocks, lots of stone, not very much sand, and a lot of scrub brush. Why do I want to mention that? Because this is the conditions under which the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his followers had to endure in order to do any of the rituals of pilgrimage. They had to walk 220 miles through desert and mountainous country like this just to get to Mecca to do the pilgrimage. Today, we get on a bus and we ride the bus to where we're going to do the pilgrimage. And everybody complains. Because, see, when you get off the bus, you got to walk. And when you start walking, a lot of us are not used to walking in the United States of America. I tell everybody, be ready to walk 5 miles at any given point every day. Why do I say 5 miles? 5 miles is the exact distance between Mecca, the Haram, and Mina, the 10th city. Now this is the Masjid al-Arafat. Arafat is the major distinguishing feature between the minor Hajj, or what we call Umrah, and the major Hajj, which is Hajj. Umrah, you do not go to Arafat. Hajj, if you don't go to Arafat, you have not completed the Hajj rituals. Now, this mosque is called Masjid al-Arafat, but they recommend you don't pray inside of it. Notice, it's huge. This is about 1/2 mile of masjid. The reason they recommend you don't pray in it is it's so big, part of it is outside of the precincts of Arafat, which means, you know, the rule of Hajj is once you come into the precincts of Arafat, you don't leave until that evening. Now, if you go into this mosque and mistakenly step over the line into an area that is not part of Arafat, you've lost your Hajj for that year and you have to come back. So everybody knows this mosque, but most people who are wise avoid it because part of it is in the precincts of Arafat, part of it is out of the precincts of Arafat. Now, here's the irony. Arafat is really a hill. It's a rocky hill in the middle of a desert plain with other rocky hills around it. And we go there from Dhuhr, which is noon prayer, until Asr prayer. And then we make Maghrib prayer and we leave. See the mountains around there and the scrub brush? That is the kind of an area that is Arafat. And we go there, and that's where we spend the day. Everybody goes, what do you spend the day there for? You are to spend the day there remembering your Lord. You know, we have our lives are so busy, many times we forget that we have an obligation to our Lord. So we want to remind everybody, yes, you have an obligation to your Lord. You have an obligation to remember your Lord. You have an obligation to remember those that you love, to remember those that are your friends, those that have asked you, and to pray for them all during that time with your Lord. Now, this is Arafat before the crowds. The reason that it's before the crowds, you see Arafat, you see the stone statue there. During the Hajj, this whole area will be covered with people. And you can't get this close. And, you know, pretty much, if you didn't get there early, you're not going to come within a 1/2 mile of the hill itself. Now, this is early in the trip. We're about a 1/2 mile from Arafat. And as you can see, all of the people are touring and we're all dressed in all of our regular clothes. During the Hajj, you will see men only in those 2 white cloths that you saw me dressed in. And they will be covering that hill. Now there are bathrooms there, but we recommend that you take care of your business before you get there. Because you're going to have about 5 million people on that plain of Arafat, which is about a 1 square mile area. That's not very big. And because it's not very big, you're not going to have a lot of room to sort of stretch out and enjoy yourself. So we recommend that you take care of your business before you get there. The other thing that we also recommend is that you spiritually take care of your business before you get there. You don't get there wondering why you're at Arafat. You get there knowing why you're there. As you can see, people are climbing those stones with nobody around. On the day of Arafat, that whole area would have bodies everywhere. People stepping over each other to get to the top. This is one of the couples that was on the pilgrimage with us. And they are standing there just so they can see it, because they know on the day of Arafat they won't be anywhere near it. I will tell you, the most incredible experience I had was trying to get to Arafat. Because on the day of Arafat, everybody leaves Mina and walks, if they don't have a bus, to Arafat. And when you see how many people are walking, it looks like a river of white. If you looked at it from an airplane or something, it just looked like a river of white. And you just see waves of white moving down. And if you're on a bus, you look out and it's so many people. You have never seen that many people in your life. Except maybe if you're in China. But for the rest of us, it is truly an amazing sight. And it is an especially amazing sight because all the people who are there have come for one purpose and for one duty of service. So it's such a wonderful experience. You know, we only have a limited amount of time for each show. So what we're going to do is continue this in the next show. But up to now, we have explained the critical parts of the Hajj, which is 1, being dressed properly, 2, being dressed before you get there, 3, making your circling of the Kaaba, and 4, Arafat, which is the critical element in having a successful Hajj. We will continue our discussion and our pictures in the next show. I'd like to remind everyone, Masjid As-Sabur Sacramento is located at 4920 15th Avenue, Sacramento, California. Our website is up, masjidassabur.org. We also are on Facebook. Please friend us. We have our Jummah prayer at 1:30 p.m. every Friday. And we also have our Ta'aleem services every 2nd, 3rd, and 5th Sundays at 11 a.m. Our Islamic classes for all are at 10 a.m. every 2nd, 3rd, and 5th Sunday. And we invite you to come and join us. One of the things that we're in the midst of is trying to expand our ability to help our communities. We have a program with Loaves and Fishes where we serve the poor every 4th Sunday. And we go down and we man the kitchen and we man the serving line, and it's just one of the most uplifting experiences you can ever have. So we invite people to come and join us. You know, you don't even have to be a Muslim, but if you want to serve, we always need help. So please come and join us every 4th Sunday of every month. And especially during the holidays, because a lot of the staff and everybody else would like to have some relief so they can go be with their families. So we invite you to come and join with us, and let's make these successful Sundays. The other thing I'd like to remind everyone about, whatever your faith, be sure to give. You know, in Islam, we say that giving is part of growth. Because in order for you to be able to give as a Muslim or as someone who supports the faith, you have to create an excess. In order to create an excess, you have to create profits. You have to do something that allows you to be profitable in your life, which inspires you to grow. And so we ask everyone, hey, come grow with us. because that's the only way that we can all be successful. And whether you're Jewish, Christian, Muslim, whatever your faith needs your support. And let's not forget that. We all too often are like the little kids that come into the restaurant to steal the bread and butter off the table but don't want to pay for a meal. We can't do that. God has given us a life, has given us opportunity, and has given us strength. Let us manifest that goodness that he's given to us by responding with goodness. And I'd like to close as I open with the greetings of all of the prophets, from Abraham to Muhammad, the greetings of peace and the greetings of paradise. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.